defined in the view, and the code is defined in XML, which means that it's almost impossible to extend it. It breaks the modularity and stuff like that. The method's definition most of the time is a list of you have positional values, which means that if you want to add one more values, you have to change the method's signature, which could break the modularity again, and it's very complicated and difficult. And the return of unchange could return a new domain, a new context, or a warning, and a new field value. New domain is very strange because how to say, what you will be able to enter in your form view will depend on the path you are filling the form. If you fill first one field and another one, you could have another domain than if you fill in the other way. I don't know if you understand the. So I think it's really a big way to get a lot of trouble and issue to modify the domains with unchange. You can change the context, and it's the same issue than with the domain. You cannot be sure that your context will be what you expect to be. Warning, yeah, perhaps. I don't think it's very useful. I think it's better to get warning when the user push what it does to the server, but it could be discussed because perhaps we need something a little bit like that, but need to see. And the new field value, this is the good stuff and the best thing to do. For Tryton, we have the definition of the unchange is on the field. Like that, you can extend it, and you just have to define the list of the values you expect to receive from the call. Like that, we can extend it. We will see with the methods, and because the method signature is just values. It's a dictionary with all the fields you put in your list. So if you append a new field, you will get as a key of values. So you don't have the positional issue, easier to extend. And unchange return only new values. It doesn't change anything else in the for the form. In OpenERP, the digits, so the number of how the number are displayed or validated, it's fixed per field. They introduce the digit precision way where you can customize it from the database, but it's fixed for every it's fixed for the models. You get one precision per field. So let's say here it's the definition of the amount of the sale, but you can make a sale in different currency where there is different precision, and then you are stuck because you need to use the most common value for all the currency you could have. There is some currency where you cannot have decimal. I don't know which one, but it's possible. Or you could have, like in Switzerland, where you could have only 5 cents, something like that. Voilà. The example, Colombia. So if you you could have trouble with that. In Tryton, the currency, the digits is dynamic. You define it here with a tuple where you can use the Python syntax. Python is the language we created to get dynamic statement on the client side. So the client will evaluate the field currency digits and use this amount for the number of digits to use to display or to validate and stuff like that. This is validated on the server side, so even if the user through the client or stuff like that, on the server side you are sure that you don't have too much decimal for a field if you define. It's a real constraint. For security, about security, in OpenERP the passwords are stored in clear text. You have rules and model access on every command operation, create, read, write, and update. And you can define field access, but only on view. On the view, you can say, okay, this group can view this field. In Tryton, we store the password encrypted by default. We have also rules and model access for create, write, and update, delete. For the records, OpenERP added the create, write, and delete just after we did it. So I guess it's an ID that they take it. We have field access, but it's not defined on the view, but it's defined like the record rules and the model rules. You create records in the tables. And these field access are tested on the server side. So if you don't have access on the field, and you try to read or to write on it, it's blocked by the server doesn't allow it. So it's a real security behavior. In OpenERP, it's just only we don't show you the field. So it's not a really security.
I think there's something. I think you can define a group in a field, but you cannot say that it's read-only, for example.
I
haven't used it, but I've seen there's
I thought about that, but I searched on the field definition, and there is nothing about group. I only see it in model, but I think I show it.
I've seen that in the view. Haven't even tried it.
Yes, I see it once in the fields, but perhaps they remove it. Don't know. But it's not anyway. It's not real security. You can, if you define, you cannot read a field. A user that is able to generate queries on the network should not allow to read it. And for Tryton, field access is for read and write. There is no other possibility. Domain and digit are validated on the server side, so you cannot corrupt the data with sending wrong values.
Domain, the error message is generated when domain checks are done.
XML, CSV, SQL, YAML, and perhaps other, I don't know. In Tryton, it's only XML, and XML you load from modules is read-only by default. So you cannot break the configuration or the server by changing stuff. And because anyway, on the next update, the XML will overwrite your change. So it's really a big sources of issue if you can change the static data of the server, because on next update it will be removed. So you have a strange behavior for the system. Yeah, and we use only XML because keys. So why use something else? We have one format that works. It's good. Report engine. OpenERP have RML, HTML, Macro to HTML, ODT, WebKit, and many others. In Tryton, we just use Relatorio. It works fine for the needs, and the report engine is designed in a way that if you want to use something else, use it for your report, and that's it. Just read return the values, the report, and the client will open it. You don't care. So we have one default, but if you want to use something else, use it. But yeah, that's all. For wizard, OpenERP have two kinds of wizards. The wizard interface, which is named now the old wizard way, and the OSV memory, which is more like a set of models with buttons. But with the memory, they lost something that was very interesting in the previous wizard, which was that you define some kind of workflow. You define states and where you can go from one state to another. With the memory, it's all in the code and it's difficult to understand it. In Tryton, we have just wizard, which is very similar to the old wizard interface of OpenERP, but we are working on a new design, which will have almost the same feature than the current one, but we will use more in a more Pythonic way with object to define instead of a big, huge dictionary with some magic keywords. We use object, and like that the code is self-documented.
But still, documentation would be appreciated.
Yes. Yeah. As we change something now, when we introduce a new functionality, we write